Shawn French, what up? This one luck, I let the pain inspire me. I put my all in everything I'm doing. Up until it's done, I'm me for the entirety. I put in overtime, I be working. Just know I'ma go for mine, cause I earned it. They watching, I know it's time. I confirmed it. A whole society determined.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back. I am your host, Shawn French, and today I have with me a hilarious dude. Someone I have met on the internet, and he is freaking hilarious. He's become a good friend, and he provides a lot of comedy relief for a lot of parents, husbands, fathers, all that good stuff, man. So I have with me today a dad, a husband, a mortgage lender, an all-around funny son of a bitch, my boy Steve Wiltz. What's up, baby?
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, dude, I'm great, man. It's just great to see your face, and we're finally having this conversation, which is long overdue and much needed.
We've been trying to connect on this for quite some time,
bro. I look back at my text. I think it dates all the way back to maybe November or December. I mean, it's like, how shitty can we be in reconnecting and getting something on the schedule?
Maybe all this kind of rolls into that whole we are a million different things, and trying to prioritize all that is not easy.
No, it sure isn't, man. So, I'm excited to share you with the audience today because, like I said, prior to recording, you are bringing some funny things to all platforms. And, but listen, man, before we get into all that, just for those who may not know who you are, why don't you give the audience a little bit of a synopsis of who you are, what you do, and what you're bringing to the world?
Yeah, man. Like you said, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, been married to my beautiful bride for 16 years, coming up on that. Got 2 little girls, create content, and I'm a mortgage lender, sharing all the time. It's kind of the same thing as creating content. Always, that mind just never stops, right? And neither do people who want loans or need questions answered.
Exactly, man. It's funny. How did you come up with the idea of telling funny jokes and having your bride in the background? And what you told me yesterday was interesting. Like, she doesn't know what's coming, right? She doesn't know what is being said. So her reactions not only look genuine and hilarious and priceless all at the same time, but now I know they're truly authentic. So walk me through that whole process and how you decided to start bringing that to the platform.
I learned, I've probably been doing this for, 3 years, a little over 3 years, maybe on social media in general. And it didn't start with, definitely didn't start with the jokes. My main thing when I started was mental health. I think I was doing some healing, going through some shit and figuring out how to deal with that. I've always been pretty introspective and very self-aware, and being able to try and started sharing that, just being vulnerable, and attracted the crowd and started. I saw the impact that had there. So I was doing a lot of that. Probably a good man. I don't know, 2 years of that, and it garnered a pretty good reach out of that. Doing the dad thing, we started these little smile cards with my daughters and started handing those out with just a message for people. And I still do that, just here and there, not quite the same concentration, but that was a lesson. And like everything you do creates a ripple, which is why my name on TikTok is Ripple Time. And I'm kind of slowly moving stuff over to be more my name based, just because I think it's a little more recognizable. And I notice also that's just kind of the path that people take. And so much of it, I think, comes down to just observing what else works, right? Like what I think works on platforms. And that's where that whole idea came from. We started doing, a lot of it in the beginning was empathy and being highly empathetic and being a dude and be able to share that. And then doing my wife's funny reactions to songs, or like tidbits of songs, and she just laughed, and I'm like, okay, well, that's funny. And then eventually, I don't know, I don't get a chance to consume as much content as I wanted to anymore. Seems like I get so much stuff sent to me that normally I just pick through my messages, and that's a lot of the good videos anyway. But there's this Emily chick, and she's the one who does just straight deadpan comedy. And I've always thought, I love making people laugh, and I think I'm a pretty funny guy. And
I would agree.
Right. So, that's just kind of my delivery style too. And so when I started doing that, mixing in dad jokes, and now I do, some of them are kind of raunchy, some of them are just puns, it's all about just being flexible. And I just don't think you can always be the same, right? This world changing so damn fast that you kind of have to keep up with it at the same time and find yourself and find your crowd and the people that you want to sit at your table with, and it helps people. It gets them away from the daily, life sucks.
Yeah. Dude, I want to touch on something, man, because I think it's something that, there's not a lot of men out there doing, and I think more are starting to. But you talked about how you were going through your own struggles, right? In your own growth, talking about mental health and all that kind of stuff. Like, man, like as men, we don't really talk about shit like that, man. And it is hard. And there's times where I have just felt like on an island all by myself. And although I have an amazing wife and 3 beautiful children, sometimes there's times where I go through things where I just feel like I'm the only one. Like there's a magnifying glass on my ass and I am the only one on this island and I'm struggling, dude. Right. And it's gotten better, but I think it's something that, I really find important. So, how did you find the courage to do that? Because for those of the people that are listening now that may be going through struggles, they sometimes feel like they can't talk about them because, if they do, then they're exposed. And if they're exposed, they're weak. And if they're weak, no one understands them and no one respects them. And it's actually the complete opposite, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. You can be vulnerable. I mean, we grew up, we're about the same age. We grew up in that same generation where you just didn't talk about shit. My dad was just like a hardened criminal when it came to emotions, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I think when it comes down to being a man per se in today's society, I mean, you can be gentle, but you also have to be able to flip and be fierce.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know when my flip that switch the moment really was per se. I mean, it seems like it was years ago because I've really been at that, like, I don't give a fuck stage in quite a while. Mm-hmm. For quite a while. And I just get so tired of so much stuff being hidden and like picking through stuff. And so I figured, you know what? Hey, if I'm just opening it out there and putting it out there, take it or leave it. You really begin to understand or realize how little people actually really truly care when you understand that they can only see everything from their level of perspective. Mm-hmm. They have no So who gives a shit?
We never know what's going on with someone else, right? That's a great point. And it's funny because, you talk about our generation, you almost have to be a hardened criminal to, if you talk about your feelings and your emotions. Man, I remember being a kid and hearing like, boys don't cry. You're a man. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm 12. Like, I have some emotions here. I'm fixing to cry here. Like, I don't like what's going on. And I think what's important is, and to your point, you have to understand when to lead with sympathy and empathy and love and just straight up kindness, but also as a man, when to flip that damn switch. And it's funny because like I talk to a lot of fathers and a lot of entrepreneurs, and the ones that understand it the most, the specific dynamic we're talking about, gentle, kind, empathetic, sympathetic, loving, etc., and then flip, are the dudes that have daughters. And bro, that's a special fucking job, dude. Being a father of girls. I mean, I have my son, he's 10, and then I have a 5 and 7-year-old daughter. And there's times where I fail miserably. For instance, this morning, failed massively, right? I think I failed twice this morning. Just to be upfront. So first time I go into my son's room and he's like literally got his, he's got a little bunk bed and he's got the little trundle thing underneath with all his clothes. And like this joker is ripping all of his clothes out of, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? He goes, I need my spirit shirt. I'm like, bro, it's Thursday. He's like, no, 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 no. And he's getting this look like he's about to cry. And he goes, I need my Spirit shirt because we earned field day. I'm like, bro, you're telling me now. Like, you're literally telling me now. We're walking out of the door in 25 minutes. You didn't think to tell me yesterday so I could email your teacher, get a shirt there, bring money in, yada, 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 right? And so I could be strong with him. And he looks at me and he goes, well, I just found out yesterday. I'm like, so why are you telling me today? I was like, here's a shirt right here. He goes, that's not the right one. I go, that's the one you're wearing. Like, that is literally the one you're wearing, dude. Can't help you. Don't bring me something that I can't fix. I apologized to him. I was like, hey, maybe I was a little bit hard on you, but you have to understand, like, you got to get better at communication, man. And that's something we're working on him with. So it wasn't just about that one specific incident. There's been multiple times. It's like homework. It's like everything. Like, oh yeah, by the way, I have this project I have to do. It's due tomorrow. Like, dog, it's 8 p.m. on Sunday, And then the other one was, you'll appreciate this one. My daughter looks at me like she saw a ghost. And she goes, Dad, this is my 7-year-old. Dad, Mama took my hand sanitizer and the sanitizer that I have, I don't like how it smells. I was like, don't. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm like, we're talking. I said, I felt like that old clip, like playoffs. We talk about playoffs. I was like, hand sanitizer. We're talking about a scent of a hand sanitizer here. And her face was just like, and I'm like, I apologize to her. I was like, listen, I was probably a little hard on you, but really, like, understand, Alina, that I can't fix that. And you're looking at me like one of our animals just died. It's hand sanitizer. But, like, I don't know. I'm off on a tangent, but, like, those are hard moments, dude.
Yep. I got 2 girls, man. I think that God is teaching me some patience. My God, man, one's 12 going on I don't know, 25.
Oh no, my 5-year-old's like almost 32.
Yeah. My 9-year-old's probably going on 25 also, because she's got an older sister doing the same thing. So yeah, I feel you, man. And it's hard to be that tough and consistent, because that's what I am. I'm like, here, boom, this is what it is. There's no reason in sitting on something that you can't fix, you can't change it. So, like, let's move on. Let's get a plan. Let's just go. Let's go. And then I sit and wallow in it, and I'm just like, that's not how this shit works.
Yeah.
But to be able to back off and be like, okay, fine. So they're 9 and 12. Yeah, granted, I got 30 something years, on them of experience. You got to remember that. So yeah, the girl thing is definitely a whole different.
Dude, and it's funny because, like, the whole message, dude, like, I'm hoping what the audience is getting out of this is being a parent is hard. It is hard. It is the most rewarding, I guess, title, job, blessing I've ever had. But at times, and I think this is something that men don't talk about enough. Women do. Moms do. Moms are overwhelmed. They do a ton that nobody sees behind the scenes. A ton. But dads have a different pressure too. And I have a lot of effing pressure on me. And it almost seems like those moments where I'm already feel like I'm in the pressure cooker. Now the fucking hand sanitizer is missing. Now the shirt isn't there. And it's almost like, it's an internal reaction. I'm reacting based on what's going on in my mind. And quite honestly, it's not their fault, And I fail in those situations. And it's like you said, you feel like God is, teaching you patience. I feel like every time I miss out on that opportunity to show that next level of patience, he's going to hit me with something else really, really soon. And I better be ready, and I better be ready to perform that patience. Like, do you ever feel that way, man?
And then it's bigger. It's always like you start on a little thing, and then all of a sudden it's something way worse. You're like, damn it. I just right last time. Right? Like, shit, dude. No, I fail all the time. And my daughter, my 12-year-old, because I think you're learning with your oldest, and your youngest, you're parenting more, right? You've got experience in it. So I try to explain that to them. And my oldest is like, gosh, we used to get in just all out shouting matches, right? And I do that now too with my 9-year-old, but that's a whole different reason, because she's got a different attitude. But
yeah.
And I would back off, reflect on it, kind of apologize, we're back to good. And she's like, you always do that, you know, in the moment or whatever, we start shouting and then you come and you apologize. I said, well, you don't apologize. And I'm learning something. So what are you learning? You're not, you think you're right all the time, you know? So yeah, man, this parenting job is bullshit. They didn't,
this bullshit. They didn't tell us. I feel like kids need to come with an IFU like medical products do, like instructions for use, right? And parenting. It's like, where is it, dude? Because, you know, and this is something that I really admire my wife about, for. She, early on, right, she would have those massive reactions. Now it takes her forever to have any type of outburst or for her to lose her shit. For me, it's still raw, right? And she says to me all the time, she goes, babe, like, how do you not see this? Like, this is what happens. Like, you have to have a longer fuse. You have to have a bigger base level or foundation of patience and good energy. So that way they come to you and they're comfortable. And I've been doing a better job of it, but I always feel, dude, and this is something that I know all parents can appreciate. I always feel like, man, I really fucked that one up. Like, I'm not even close. And the only thing I can say is, like, he's still working on me, man. I know I'm cursing, but, you know, I still, you know, I'm not perfect, but, you know, I believe that, you know, God is really working on me, and I feel it in so many different aspects of my life. But this parenting journey, man, it's hard, man. It is. I always feel like no matter what I do, they're looking at me, right? They're looking at my reactions. They're looking at for leadership. And for the most part, I do a pretty damn good job. But man, there's just moments where I just feel like I just don't have this figured out, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna.
Yeah, I had a big, long conversation with a couple of buddies of mine. They're realtors. We were talking about, you brought up, hey, you know, I swear and I do that. And I swear in front of my kids. That's no secret. They call me out on that and all that stuff. And I said, you know what? If that's the worst thing I do, like, I'm going to do way worse shit. Like, you can find whatever you want to pick me apart with. I said, but I guarantee you, my chances of going up, having one end of days come is 90% greater than a lot of these people who are walking to the church doors all the time. I know.
1,000%. Yeah.
So I had no problem with that. And my wife and I disagree on that here or there, but it is, you know, I also feel like when you talk about that pressure, I mean, that's something that I don't want to say we do it to ourselves, but it's there, man. Like, I get pressure for me even making videos. Dude, I make a solid amount of money on these. Like, now they're gotten this far. This shit's not easy, not to get where it is. I never even thought this was going to be something. And so when I'm like, all right, Kristen, we're making a video, and she's sitting on the couch, she's like, "Here, what do you think?" She's like, "I look like hell." I'm like, "You look great." You know,
it's great, babe. Come on. Who do you need to look good for? What the hell?
Yeah, you're in the corner of the couch.
You already got your trophy, husband. What are you worried about? What the hell?
I gotta get the shirt, man. and so I'll get angry about it because I'm feeling that, like, okay, I gotta keep this rolling. Like, it's always continuous. Yeah. We're always doing something. But then I probably didn't ever share that with her. Like, okay, here's where we're at with everything. This is why I want to do what I want to do. I don't share the why enough. Yeah. I think there's a big thing too when it comes to the pressure. Like, man, I'm thinking I want to go and do these different vacations and trips and all this stuff. I'm like, where's the money from? Right? Yeah. This is my plan, but I never shared my plan. So much of stuff that I think we all go through, men and women alike, is self-inflicted because we either don't communicate enough or we have an expectation. Yeah. And expectations are bullshit. I can't stand expectations. We all have them, and I still have them too. But you know, you get a lot less stressed out when you not lower those. We just don't even have them. You just able to roll punches and realize that works itself out.
You know, it's funny because, you know, my wife and I, you know, she's involved in my business too, and we're going through a lot of things behind the scenes right now, and you know, a rebranding, a relaunch, like a whole bunch of cool things that are just going to be amazing. And I think from the wife's standpoint, it's like, you're still just my husband.
Yeah.
You know, you're still just her husband and the father of her children. So like there's times where they just want the sanctity of the family. They don't want a camera around. They don't want to talk about your video. They don't want to talk about what's new with the Determined Society brand. They don't really care, right? They care, but they don't. All they want is the man that they married. And it just so happens that after they married us, we found this talent that we had, this gift to where, sorry, this is just what it is. And, you know, I had a really interesting experience the other day. I went on a date night with my wife. We went to Cooper's Hawk Winery. It was great. We had a glass of wine and, you know, a nice meal. And we did not talk about our business once. That was really cool, man. And so, you know, I don't know. You just brought that up, and I just kind of feel like I feel that too, right? It's like, oh, you want to talk about this shit again? Or we're going to do this video again. And I don't really include my wife in anything like video wise or anything like that. Early on, I had a bunch of like imposters like copying my account, right? Downloading my videos and my pictures of my children and my family, and making fake pages and going and trying to sell cryptocurrency to people or Bitcoin or whatever the fuck, right? Widgets, I don't know. And, you know, once I got verified, that stopped, right? And so for me, I'm like, yeah, I do not want to put my kids on my grid. You know, unless like my wife collaborates with me on something like a gymnastics meet, like last week, like I'll do that. Right. But dude, I just think that in this space for those creators that are going to listen to this and that are listening right now, it's super important to be able to not just include your family, but also understand where your spouse is coming from, because for you, where the way you read it is like, you don't get me. Like, you don't understand what I'm doing. You want to go to Fiji next year. How am I going to do that? I'm not saying your wife wants to go to Fiji, but I'm just saying, like, what wife doesn't want to go to fucking Fiji? Right. Let's just be honest, right? Sure. But like, sure. I want to go to Fiji, but I'm not doing this because I'm in love with hearing my voice or producing stupid reels and putting them on Instagram. I'm doing them because there's a bigger purpose here, right? Mm-hmm. And if I feel as if my wife would receive the messages I receive on a daily basis, whether it's an email or a DM or a text message, how that show changed their life. Yep. Or that joke or, you know, made them feel like they weren't alone. Like, dude, that is worth everything to me, right? Because it's all about impact.
I 100,000% agree with that. Because I get those all the time, and it's a stupid joke thing, and they you know, my gosh, you made me laugh today. I haven't laughed in weeks or what, something like that. And you took the time to send the message. I always am pretty appreciative, and I always point it out. And I respond to as much stuff as I can, because they took the time. It meant something to them. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit of validation, self-fulfilling on our side to get that good feeling out of it. But you know, somebody took the time to be like, hey, yeah, man, I've been struggling with it. I had been fighting or whatever, and you can make us laugh together. And that's the only time we laugh together. Like, I can't stop.
Yeah. But I mean, bro, that, you know, it is like that self-fulfilling thing, right? Where we have that need for that external validation, right? Mm-hmm. Which I think is normal. I think that people that say they don't seek outside approval, they're lying. They're full of shit. Oh, yeah. At some point we always do, right? So like for those people, I always ask them like, okay, when you go to work, like, do you care what your boss thinks of you? Well, absolutely. Like, well, that's external validation. Because if you didn't give a shit, you wouldn't give a shit. Well, they could fire me. Well, what do you care if you don't care?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, we're always looking for that. And so, you know, from my end, when I get those, it's just like, okay, cool. What I'm doing isn't just a hobby. It isn't just me talking on a microphone. It is me impacting the world. In a very small scale, right? Mm-hmm. Of whatever it is. And to your point, if you can save one marriage, by your videos with your wife, and that's the only time they laugh together, it's going to bring more smiles, more laughter in other areas. And you are the catalyst. I'm sorry. That is God's work. Southwest Florida is one of the most beautiful places on the planet to live. For those of you that are thinking of moving from other states to come to Florida, or even just moving to a different part of the state, I want you to think of a big, beautiful luxury home. Contact Legacy Luxury Builders. They are a family-owned and operated luxury residential construction company. As a family-owned business, they believe in the power of building not just homes, but legacies. Contact Legacy Luxury Builders.
Yeah, and I enjoy it too, and I'm sure you get reached out to by people where I'll pick apart some of the friends that I've developed on there and be like, hey, try this with your video. Right now, working with our soccer club up here on their social media stuff. I'm like, you just got this. I love it. I could do this 24 hours a day. Man.
Yeah.
It's so, I can get so obsessed with the analytics and what works, what doesn't work, what shirts. Like this shirt in general, it's purple. For whatever reason, I had lost this thing I just found this morning. It was just being behind another shirt. This shirt does really well in videos. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but colors, all sorts of stuff seem to affect things a lot of times. So being able to share that with someone, because like you said, I think we all need that. I don't believe there are very many things that are actually selfless in this world. When I was like, oh, he's such a selfless person, such a selfless act. I was like, bullshit.
Yeah, you have an agenda.
He felt good about it. That's why he did it. Mm-hmm. Yes, he cared about you, and yes, he did that, but he's not selfless. Like, let's establish that first, okay? Aside from jumping in front of a car to save a child or something like that, that's pretty selfless.
Yeah.
But everybody needs that. Everybody needs a little fulfillment. Yeah, I get it. I help people. I stretch myself stupid thin. My mind doesn't stop. Just like you, just run around. And yeah, taking a step back. And that's why every once in a while I throw in a pretty heartfelt one with Chris, and she never sees those coming either, which I think are even better, right? But we do the day and night thing. And I think that's extremely important. You have to have that stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's funny because you were talking about colors of shirts. I had someone tell me, don't stop wearing black. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to stop wearing black. Your videos will do better if you don't wear black. I'm like, well, it's kind of the brand, right? Like I don't, but at the same time, it's like, I think it's always this weird, like, you never know what's going to do well, right? You right. Just never know. You never know. Like, I posted something on Facebook. Like I said, I don't know who needs to read this, but I'm proud of you, and the caption was, like, I see you, I am proud of you. If you are facing challenges and you are pushing through them with sadistic determination and you are doing everything you can, I see you, I am proud of you. And it did well on Twitter. It did okay on Facebook. But it blew up, on Instagram within 30 minutes. And it's just, like everybody's blow up is different. I'm not searching to go viral. I just think that, there will be, when the shift happens as far as the content, that'll bring a different audience and that'll bring more engagement. That'll bring a different aspect of it. But for me, it's like doing something that I love and then having people reach out, ask for help. And because you mentioned, going back to the soccer club, you're helping them based on your successes, your failures on this platform. You're able now to go help somebody, right? I had a fitness coach reach out to me from Louisiana and he goes, dude, I can't figure this out. Why are these not doing well? Like, how do I do this? I'm like, well, dude, like, first and foremost, you're not engaging in the community. Like, you expect people just to come to you. Like, you have to go out there and make friends. Like you like, this is the first time I've locked eyes with you in a live situation, but like, I would probably do anything you needed because we've established a relationship. And for the people that were listening, like, we were laughing yesterday, we were on the phone because I don't see his content anymore. He doesn't see mine. And it's like, so when we're able to help, I mean, yeah, nothing is ever truly selfish, right? We're excited because we have value to give. That makes us feel good. Same thing when we do stuff for our kids. Nothing's ever truly selfless.
Right.
And that's a triggering topic, dude. I was talking to somebody else about that. I think maybe Dude, I don't know when it was. I don't know. I don't think it was you, but it was another man. And I think it was my buddy Sergio that we did a show with. That I did a show with. I don't know. And people were like, "That's bullshit. That's bullshit." I got so many text messages like, "Dude, how can you say there's no selflessness?" I'm like, "Well, because there's not.
Right.
There was one person that was selfless. That was Christ."
Yep.
So I'm sorry. I don't want to hear it. It's just the way it is. We do things for other people because it makes us feel good and we want to help them and see them succeed. Right.
It's double-sided, but it was never just for someone.
It always is, dude. But what's the favorite joke you've ever said, or the favorite joke that you and your, let's lighten it up. Let's your favorite punchline joke that you've ever done.
I don't even know. I could have so freaking ready up. I just, whenever I can really take you by surprise, like, and these are ones that I'm just recycling. I think this one was raunchy. It did really well. Facebook banned it. Yeah, that's on Instagram. But it was like the real reason that women get yeast infections is so that they can understand what it's like to live with an irritating cum.
I died.
It's not my joke. I'm just seeing
Right.
this, and I wrote it down, and I have this list, right? But I'm doing this thing. It's in the realtor's office here too, and I'm putting out like an outline education thing on social media stuff, and I've told them help anybody, and I do help a couple different ones, and I keep meaning to put a Facebook group together, do some things for them, but they asked me to title it, and I said my title was Steal Like an Artist. That's actually a really good book, but the continuation of it was that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just simply have to put your own spin.
Mm-hmm.
And you get so many haters out there because you're not saying anything different than anybody else out there. I'm not, most of a lot of my stuff I actually do come up with, but I'm sure someone else has said it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, is like, people are going to hate, they're going to hate. But the biggest thing is just taking action.
Yeah.
Taking action and be polarizing. It's all out. Piss off some people.
That's the one thing that I don't do well enough. But it's coming. It's coming.
Dude,
it's coming, dude.
You just shift.
It's like, to me, it's like I wanted, and for those of you listening, right, I do have a polarizing personality. I just haven't used it. You can tell I'm very edgy. Here's my thought process behind it. I have worked for almost 4 years to build a community of people who love my show, love my content. I feel like being polarizing right off the bat alienates a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I think that you have to give, just like in any relationship. It's a relationship piggy bank. People in your community, I'll call them my teammates on Instagram, right? Like, I hate the word followers. I hate it. I just can't stand it. Like, it's a locker room for me. Like, I like bantering in the sandbox like it's a damn baseball dugout, right? And those things are coming, but I just always felt like, okay, I need to build that trust first, so that way people know who I am. Now I feel like enough people that listen and consume my stuff know my heart. And so now when I go off on some things, right, it's going to be received a lot more openly, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point too. Like, I think I have a teammate base. I think I had a teammate base of like 260,000 on just TikTok, but then Instagram, Facebook really didn't. I didn't put this content out there when it was the emotional, the empathy stuff, and so those people knew me. And I do things here and there to raise awareness or raise a bunch of money, and I helped a veteran power washing business started, that sort of thing. And it's funny because my wife worries about this, as far as like what do people think? Like, can we do less raunchy stuff, or can we do less this? I'm like, why?
Yeah,
my whole thing, and I'm not trying to change my wife at all whatsoever. She is a queen. I hold her in the highest regard, and I always will. But I really wish that she could just share in this freedom with me, where it's like, just don't fucking care. Yeah. I know who I am. and I need to, and I meant to do video about it. Like, listen, like you guys see 30 seconds of a video of me doing some stupid ass joke.
Mm-hmm.
You have no clue. You know,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you see what you want to see, or you see what I want you to see,
Mm-hmm.
because it does well.
Yep.
I can
Yep.
talk. I'm the deepest freaking thinker, and I can get real deep down lots of rabbit holes and stuff for a long, long period of time. And if I choose to shift content that way, I will. I'll lose
Yeah.
people, I'll get haters. That's good.
But see, the point is though, you've gained that respect and trust from so many people. When you do shift to that, it's going to be, oh, I can't wait to see what he's doing now. Right. Because they're already bought in. And I think that's important too. But it's funny because it's kind of the opposite in our house. Like I care more than I think my wife does. You know, like my wife is very secure in who she is. And I didn't grow up in a household that was built on confidence, man. You know, like I love my mom. She's great. We have our issues, right? But, you know, my biological father was gone by the time I was 2. My father, that was my father my whole life, was, you know, my mom remarried, and, you know, there was a lot of leading by fear, right? And if you don't play Major League Baseball, you won't be shit because you can't do anything with your hands, and you can't do this. You can't. And that brings a lot of insecurities, right? And I'll be the first, man. Like, and this is something too, man. So many men are like, I don't have any insecurities. You're a freaking liar. You're a liar. I have a ton of them. I may manage them better than maybe the dude next to me, but don't get it twisted. They are there. They are there. And when I'm open, I was on my friend Allie and Demisha's show about 3 or 4 months ago. I think it might have been maybe 3 months ago. And I was sharing how I felt personally in high school. And my friend Allie was a freshman when I was a senior. She goes, oh my God, I never saw that. I saw you as popular. I saw you as confident. I saw you as well put together. And I'm like, yeah, I was an insecure kid, felt like I was fat, not good looking enough, worried about my ears, worried about everything. And I felt I was overcompensating, but that's not what came out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like
1,000%.
There's a ton of insecurity still.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just,
I don't care. And it doesn't mean the insecurities aren't there.
Exactly. And I'm not challenging you on that at all. I'm just saying like for people to say that they don't have insecurities, that's crazy to me, you know, but like my wife, absolute 12 out of 10 smoke show Ecuadorian, like gorgeous. And early on in her life, her dad said to her, you are going to be so beautiful, but your confidence needs to come from your brain. And my wife, like if she is anything, she has that hubris around her cerebral abilities, right? And that's attractive to me. It's like you look like that, and you're like your brain's your most attractive asset. Like, yeah, like spend the rest of your life with me, please, right? I don't know where we're going with that, but it's you know, it's just one of those things, man. It's just it always just comes to my mind. I think about it a lot, and you know, it's just interesting to me.
You know, I think, I love where our conversation goes back and forth kind of all over the place, because I think that's the biggest thing. Like I see my wife in a way that she does not. Yeah, I mean, I think she's amazingly beautiful in her worst moments. And I think that women in general, you know, if you look at it, they get plastic surgery or Botox or whatever. She gets her nails done. She gets her lashes done. All this shit. It's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Sure as hell not for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't make, does she look good with it? Yeah, absolutely. Would she look as good with it without it? Absolutely. Yeah. And so you see all the different relationship stuff that's always on there. And one thing I picked up on, and this would have to be a long time back, but somebody was talking about the fact that women marry men for their potential when men marry women for who they are in that moment.
Wow.
And I think that is just, I just felt that because when we got married, I was like, oh, okay, she's going to be, she's going to be amazing. She can be a lawyer, or she can be a doctor, or whatever.
You're like, she is amazing.
Yeah. And I feel like that women in general, now that's a polarizing thing, sure. But I think if people really think about it, you really look at that, I think it's pretty damn true.
Well, I mean, dude,
I provide down the road, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, dude, if I were to sit here and tell you that I felt my wife married me for the man I was then, how could she have? Right. How could she have?
Yeah.
You know, I was about, and this is what's funny. Like, I locked her down when I was like 250 pounds. Fat as shit. Like, what are you thinking? You could have anybody. And she's like, you have the best heart, and you're the most genuine dude I know, and you're an amazing father. Like, I like, you're it. And you're going to be a provider, you know? And whereas with her, I was just like, she's everything I wanted in that moment. Like, already. Right. And so that's interesting, dude. See guys, he is a very deep thinker. He's very deep, because I've never thought of that. But yeah, I mean, dude, she didn't marry me for the dude I was back then. There's no way in hell. She can say whatever she wants. There's no way on God's green earth that I ever deserved her. I still fight to deserve her.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know,
you were talking about to another quick left turn, but same kind of arena. I mean, I really failed, and this was a couple weeks ago now with my oldest. I don't remember what we were doing. Just goofing around, and she wanted me to stop, and I was just goofing around with her, and it turns into this massive fight. And she starts calling on stuff from, I don't even know why or whatever, you know, kind of holding on to things, and I lost it. And I was like, you guys have no idea what goes through my head every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to tell a 12-year-old that no one cares what a man feels like until it turns into anger, and you can all of a sudden point fingers at him. And I think there is so much truth to that, but I'm sitting there trying to blast this at my 12-year-old like a dumbass. Like, can she understand it? Yes. But is there really in that moment the right thing? And I was yelling, she was yelling. And I mean, it was bad, but it's when you do a lot of thinking like that, and you're pretty self-aware about stuff. Same as you need to determine society, right? That gives a timer to it. I know how your mind works, so at least a little bit, just from the name of everything you do with the company that I've seen the friends become. Trying to tone that down is not easy.
No, it's not. And dude, it's funny because you brought up something with your 12-year-old, and every father has their trigger. Like, you know, I've said this very inarticulately at times. Like, you guys have no clue how much I fucking do. Like, there's not many fathers that wake up in the morning while the kids are getting ready, does the lunches, does the breakfast, does the waters, does the coffee, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it's a lot, because I also have my stuff. My phone doesn't ever fucking stop, dude. Like, my email's blowing up. Like, even since we've been on this call, I've gotten like 20 texts, right? Like, you know, if it's not my payroll business that I own, it's my brand, it's something. And then to go out there to the car when I have warm breakfast for my 5-year-old, and she goes, I don't want this. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just like, that's the way I feel inside, right? That's the way I feel inside. And I know I haven't been cursing a lot on my show lately, guys, for you listening, but this one is just, you're going to have to deal with it, because this is what goes on in my mind. It's like, it's you don't appreciate me. Like, you don't appreciate me. Like, yesterday was one of those moments. I stayed quiet, and it festered. And I walked in, and then my wife called, and then we got into it because I subconsciously took it out on her, and I had a condescending tone to me, right? And but the thing is like, I'm like, what did you want? I wanted avocado toast. I'm like, well, freaking sorry, okay? This isn't Sunday brunch. It's Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day it was. It's like, but those moments.
Yeah. You brought up feeling appreciated, and I think, to me, that's my love language. And that's just how I feel about it. Like, I don't care. You could tell me you hate me all day long. We're gonna get in scuffs, whatever. But if my kids, and they know this a little bit, they don't always remember it. Just simple thank you. Hey, Dad, I see you. Appreciate you. Same thing for my wife, and we've had this conversation. Her and I have multiple times because her love language is totally different. And so trying to meet each other in there where I have to show her differently than she shows me is a constant battle.
Yeah.
Also, but gosh, man, I think any man in general, it's just, do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
And
do you see me? Right?
Yeah.
Do you see Dad? And let me, I don't want people listening to think that I have ungrateful children, because I don't. They're amazing. And a lot of my listeners do know my children, right? That I don't say a lot of my listeners, because there's much more now. A lot of times when I talk about this, like I remember back when only 15 people were listening.
Yep.
It's not the same 15 people. But like my youngest that I got so mad at yesterday, she's my most grateful. Oh, thank you, Daddy. You're such a good papa. But there's those moments where I'm just like, what the like, I don't know. I made you an egg sandwich. Eat it or don't. Like, starve. And then Daddy told me to starve. I'm like, oh God, dude. Like, but dude, it's like, it's those moments where, looking back at it, I was like, you know what, honey, you're right. I know you would really love avocado toast. The fact of the matter is I just didn't have time today, and I don't have avocados. So maybe over the weekend, but enjoy your sandwich. If you don't want to eat it, that's fine. Yeah. Hey, give it to mama.
Yeah. And that would be the perfect response. And that's how I wish I would respond.
Yeah.
And that's why, you realize it after the fact. But in that moment, man, it's just, Jesus, you little mother.
Yeah. Well, we're still animals.
Yeah.
We have that savage, dude. I'm sorry. I got that little savage in me. And it's just like, all right, cool. Like, you don't like that shit? Make your own damn breakfast then.
Yep.
Go eat the garbage at school.
Because I'm driving you this morning. You can walk.
Yeah.
You want to
find your ass and put on your shoes, girl.
Yeah.
Get there. Oh, man.
We were uphill both ways, bitch. Let's go.
Yeah. I love it. Look, man, I appreciate you, and we got to land the plane here, but I just thank you for hopping on here. It's funny. You mentioned the conversations going, you like how it's going left, right, and all over the place. It's kind of what I love, because that's real life. Right. And what I try to do with my show is bring certain things out in my guests that my audience can enjoy and truly connect with them on. And I think we accomplished that today, dude. I truly do. I appreciate you. I feel like I got to know you much, much better. And I think there's going to be some more stuff we can do down the road together. We'd love to have you out here when we get the relaunch going. We can do some funny things, some fun stuff, but just thank you, dude.
Thank you.
Real quick before you go, why don't you, and I'll put the links in, but why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Oh man, you can find me.
Don't give him your address. Don't give him your fucking address, dude. Don't be a dumbass.
Never mind. I thought that's what you meant. I was getting visitors and maybe like a side
knock on the door. Hey, where's Ripple Time at?
Yeah, right. Yeah, Ripple Time on TikTok, Facebook, Steve Wiltz, and Instagram. Instagram with Steve Wiltz. YouTube is under Ripple Time or Steve Wiltz. Honestly, man, it's. And you know this, if you just search your name, you ever do that? You're like,
it used to nothing come up. Now it's like, holy shit, I got a thing on the right-hand side now. That's cool.
Yeah.
Knowledge panel. I didn't even know what that was.
Right.
Look, Mom, I made it.
I'm huge now, Mom.
I'm huge. There's like 2 things written about me, but it's there. Fuck it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's the little things. So I tell my wife off tap.
Absolutely. It's the little things, right? And I got all the little things. So, but look, man, I appreciate you, dude. And audience, those of you listening, just go check my boy out. And he also does mortgages. He's one of the best mortgage brokers in the state of Michigan. So if you ever need anything, make sure you
nationwide, buddy.
Nationwide, everywhere.
Yep.
Go hit him up. I love y'all. Until next time, stay sadistically determined. Peace out.
Write that down.
Southwest Florida is one of the most beautiful places on the planet to live. For those of you that are thinking of moving from other states to come to Florida, or even just moving to a different part of the state, I want you to think of a big, beautiful luxury home. Contact Legacy Luxury Builders. They are a family-owned and operated luxury residential construction company. As a family-owned business, they believe in the power of building not just homes, but legacies. Contact Legacy Luxury Builders.